Cryptography is age-old thing actually. So he brought with the distributed processing, he brought crypto also. Crypto makes your data safe because when data is leaving your device and goes to the cloud to the other end, so it is getting encrypted. So your data is encrypted and it cannot be decrypted by anybody unless he has that key, those private key and public key, all those things are from crypto. The third thing was used was hashing. There is a hash function which is called.
Welcome to another insightful episode of Value Seller Talks with Deepak Bajaj, where we bring the engaging conversations with the visionaries who are shaping the future of technology and connectivity. This session is in continuation with our last session with Dr. Satya Gupta, an internationally renowned expert in next generation networks, technologies, broadband policy, and telecommunication regulations. We had a detailed discussion on his personal journey, vision of the Blue Town, his own venture, Hotspot as a managed service model, how it's useful for the community and how it is making the profits, as well as Dr. Satya mentioned about his book Long Tail, Walking Extra Mile on Rural Broadband Business, and it talk about a lot of use cases which can actually help the community and shows his character as a social entrepreneur. He mentioned about the importance and about the mentorship as well as the how he's handholding the youngsters. And obviously, the important topic which we discussed in detail was the blockchain, how it's a game changer and how it is a gold mine, which we understand from his own perspective. So today we will be covering those topics which are essential for today's world and how Dr. Satya is solving the problem through his innovation. So welcome again, Dr. Satya.
Oh, thank you, Deepak.
Uh, I request you to start with the blockchain again. That would be a refresher, and I received a lot of response. People want to learn from that blockchain, and it's a looks like a light tower for them, other than the buzzword of AI and machine learning which is going on. So please give us some refresher on this blockchain, what the potential it hold for the telecom industry and beyond.
Oh, thank you, Deepak. I must compliment you for helping me in spreading the knowledge and awareness building on this innovative technology. I call it a magical technology, blockchain, and this will be a great help for me also in my mission to spread the blockchain to grassroots level as well as to the policy maker level at the top. So as you have mentioned few of the things what I basically believe blockchain can do. Actually, to start with, let me tell the blockchain is called distributed ledger technology, DLT, and actually it is not just one technology. It is technology of technologies. It is comparable to the internet. What internet was there in the ancient state 40 years back. Its technical name is also internet of value. Like you have internet of people, internet of things. Blockchain is called internet of value. That means it is a kind of internet in that sense, but I have named it from my own perspective and from my imagination, you may call internet of wealth. So actually the blockchain have potential to solve any problem mankind has, the personal problem, physical problem, fiscal problem, economical problem, social problem, the nation's problem, and the problems of the globe. I have also named it in one of my poem, which is named Blockchain Chalisa. I have named blockchain as Kalpatru, a tree of a wish that whatever you ask, it can give you. And it is far true actually. It's true. So blockchain, according to me, have solution to any problem you can think of actually. And that is what I'll explain. It is explained in my blockchain chalisa also. Basically, as I mentioned, blockchain is not just one technology, or it is not a conventional internet what it is supposed to be. It is much beyond that. It is actually a technology of technologies. As the name suggests, it's a data ledger. It records the transactions. It records the whatever information is being transferred, and it does it in such a manner which nobody can ever think actually on a online or a internet world. The biggest, you can say, negative is the security of your data, because you are in the cloud, and blockchain actually makes your data very very secured. And that is what it adds value to the other technologies like AI ML. Though they are doing great, they have basically spread everywhere, they are helping, but still they have some issues. And one of the issue is about ethical issues, about the data security issues when data is being transferred, which blockchain is handling. And the biggest contribution of blockchain in the industrial ecosystem is bringing trust. That is the biggest contribution. It is sometime it is also mentioned at internet of trust, because whatever you do with the technology, these internet technologies, the trust is always a concern. And to make the trust, the conventional method used is that you need a middle or a intermediate agency, so that you can trust that agency, and that trust, then they do rest of the job. It is like you have these banks. When you transfer your money or exchange your money, you do it through bank. Why? Because you have trust in the banks, and they bring the trust. Suppose banks were not there and you exchange your money one to one, so there will be a need for the both the party to have trust in each other. So if you are dealing with a untrusted party, you need bank because of the trust. If that trust can be given to you by a technology, then you don't need the medium for that, or the trusted agency or authority for that. And that is what exactly blockchain brings to the table. So if you use blockchain in your transactions like you do on a normal internet, so you don't need a middleman, a agent, a third party, a trust building mechanism. That is not required. So that is what. So how it helps? It helps because there is no middleman, no agency in between. So the cost will be less. You will not be spending anything in doing that transaction, and still you will have that transaction basically trusted one. So that is one simple thing about the blockchain. But that is just the start point. So that does not mean blockchain only brings the trust, though that is the most important attribute of the blockchain. Actually, blockchain can bring the productivity, efficiencies, so it do away with all kind of let us say wastage of time, wastage of efforts, or unnecessary efforts. Then it brings the trust, of course. As I told, it brings the security also. The security which is also, especially when you transfer the data, your data security, data privacy, there are a lot of you can say acts are there, like the famous act DPDP, your data personal data protection act, which have yet to be implemented. It is very very complex thing to implement these kind of act. There also blockchain can help actually, because you have to protect the data, as well as you have to share it also, as well as you have to actually own it also. because now the new law which is coming in the country, whatever data you produce, either as an individual or as a company or as a government, so you are owning the data, the producer. That is also called producer economy. So if you own that data, then you should have a right that this data is protected also when you share, because you are the owner and nobody else should claim the ownership of data. If you want to monetize that data, like nowadays third party do, you have your own data, if somehow it has reached the third party, maybe with your consent, so they will now monetize it. So that means the benefit of ownership of that data is taken over by the third party. Whereas if you use blockchain, here you, as a producer of the data, you own it, you are guaranteed that it is protected, and you can monetize it actually. So this is what will take us to what we called web 3. As you know, the internet, the first generation was web 1, which was only one way, like that is called read only web. You can just download some information from the web. So that was Web 1 initially in 1990 actually. And then in 2000 we came to what is called Web 2. Web 2 is what the web we are living in. It is interactive. It has video also. You can read as well as you can write. You can write on the web too. You can upload your video. You can upload your data. But as an individual, when you upload your data, your content which you have created, now you are not monetizing it actually. Even if you may get some kind of usage fees and all that, but actual monetization is done by third party on you, though they would have taken your consent or you may not be even knowing that you have monetized it. So that is the problem of web 2. You can read and write, but you don't own it. Once it has gone to the web, now ownership is taken over by some companies who are good in monetizing it actually. So, though officially they may not be owning it, but actually they are getting all the privileges of ownership. In fact, they are monetizing it. So, the next version of web, which is being talked about, is Web 3. Web 3 is also known as read, write, own web. And that ownership aspect is actually brought by blockchain. You have to use blockchain to make a web which you can own it also. Actually, as you know about the internet, initial internet when it was created, people used to ask who owns the internet. Nobody had a clear answer in that. Then I did a lot of research. Then I came out with a, let us say, hypothesis that anybody who is connected to the internet or who is using the internet, he is owning it. Philosophically, that was correct. That is correct today also. But in practice, there are other people who they may not be owning it, but they are actually controlling it or managing it actually. Though even there also, jury is out. It is not very clear who is owning it, who is controlling it, who is managing it. But that will be a separate subject someday. I can bring out that also. But main thing is, on the internet, whatever content is there in the web 2 era, which is present era, you are not owning. You as a creator are not owning. That is sure. You can read anything on the web, you can write anything on the web, but you are not owning neither your part of the web or not the full web. Actually, you are not owning it. But when we go to web 3, and that is where you have to use blockchain. By using blockchain, which is distributed ledger technology, it is actually a technology of technologies which I'll be coming. So you will be owning your part of the data on the web, your creation. It is called creator economy, and you will control your part of the web, you will monetize your part of the web. That is why it is called read, write, own web. In my own way, I have coined the Web3 as worldwide owned wealth. That is my definition of Web3, worldwide owned wealth. And that is far real actually. It is actually will be like that. That is why I have been telling our new generation, whom I'm mentoring, especially these IT guys who half of them did not get the job, though they have done their some degree in computer. Those who have got job and doing these IT work, they are threatened by AI and ML. As you know, AI can do most of the things what a IT engineer does or what a computer engineer does. So they were threatened. So I told them, you should not be threatened. These are called white collared guys. You should not be threatened. In fact, I can make you from white collar as gold collar. Actually, you can become gold collar. Just you have to enter in the domain of blockchain. You just become either a coder of the blockchain if you like coding, though that is not a requirement to enter blockchain domain, or you become a blockchain architect, or you become a blockchain professional, or if you don't know what to do, you become a blockchain entrepreneur. I call them blockpreneur. So blockpreneur, anybody who have no job, who does not know what he should do, he should just become blockpreneur. And he will, according to me, he'll become a gold collar guy. That is what is the promise of blockchain. And it is for real, as I was mentioning, to bring it more clarity to the blockchain definition. Basically, it is based on 5 technologies. Actually, they were already there. So, for that matter, blockchain is not new, though it became popular by a white paper of that mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. So, peer to peer cash transaction, the paperless cash transaction. From that day, the word Bitcoin came. Bitcoin was a cryptocurrency, which is today also most famous application of blockchain, and blockchain became. But this guy Satoshi Nakamoto, in his white paper, he has in mind that he will be using 5 technologies which are already there, but putting them together. So one of the technology was your distributed database. That is why it is also called distributed ledger technology. And nowadays everything is distributed anyway. That was first technology. The second technology what he used was crypto, the cryptocurrency. Why it is Bitcoin became cryptocurrency? Because he was using cryptography. Cryptography is age old thing actually. So he brought with the distributed processing, he brought crypto also. Crypto makes your data safe, because when data is leaving your device and goes to the cloud to the other end, so it is getting encrypted. So your data is encrypted, and it cannot be decrypted by anybody unless he has that key, those private key and public key, all those things are from crypto. The third thing was used was hashing. There is a hash function which is called checksum. In hashing, what you told, you have a packet of data. It is converted into a hash is generated, which is a small and fixed length, you can say fixed length strings or a word, and that is what hash. And hash means if you change anything on the main content for whose hash you have created, the hash will not match the hash of that will. So that means someone have interfered with your data. So that is why the hash will protect its original thing actually, and it becomes what you call immutable. Nobody can change that. If anybody change that, the hash will change. Hash is linked further and further. So that is what this hash function was used. Other thing which was used in the blockchain is called smart contract. The smart contract is automation of any contract that was there in 1990 itself actually. So with that, your all contract becomes automatically implemented or executed. So there'll be no dispute, no need of any trust. The smart contract itself does all such thing. And but for making the trust actually, you need a witness or you need the actual data. So for that they have used a mechanism called consensus mechanism. It used to be there, that majority voting kind of concepts. So that is called consensus mechanism. So these five technologies put together make the blockchain, and that is why blockchain is so powerful. The good thing of five very important technologies have been put together, brought together, so that you can bring security, you can bring transparency, you can bring trust and efficiency also, because a lot of automation happens here actually. A lot of the manual work is done by the computer itself actually. So that is how the blockchain has become so powerful. Actually, you have to have imagination or you have to have a problem to solve the this. And for that only, one thing which is very very important, which I always tell, blockchain is not Bitcoin. Everyone says Bitcoin is blockchain and blockchain is Bitcoin, 99.9% of the people. So but it is not the same. Why it is not the same, I jokingly I always tell, because both spelled different. The
Hmm.
spelling is different. So they are different actually. Yes, but half of the majority is right. Bitcoin was the first application of blockchain, and it is Bitcoin which made the blockchain popular. That credit we have to give to Bitcoin. But then their similarity ends after that. After
Right.
that, blockchain is much bigger than Bitcoin.
True.
Bitcoin is just one application of blockchain which, which have made the blockchain popular and also unpopular sometime. But that is a misunderstanding. So that is what I wanted to tell you about the blockchain.
No, it's a very, very wealthy information, honestly. Uh, so Internet of Value, that is something which you have highlighted. It's a technology of all technology. It means it's a baseline on which everything is getting put over. And the
Yes.
one thing which I really love about it, the person who is creating a content has no control on how it get monetized. But this Web3, which is again backed by blockchain, is going to make them wealthier, and also the popular also have a control on his content so that he should get the right share, and he can appoint maybe who can appoint the agencies or such type of a platform who can actually help them to monetize, rather than just giving a content and praying the god that he should get some money if they get some around few thousands of subscribers, something like that.
Yeah,
So
you really summarized it very, means you have actually hit the nail on its head actually.
I try to also digest, because also because I'm also the part of that 99.9% who was thinking, the Bitcoin is a blockchain. But yes, the important is that that application has made this Bitcoin technology visible and also acceptable also. I
Yes.
understand there are so many companies who started this Bitcoin as their prime source of business. And what's the future? I don't know about what they are doing right now. But yes, that acceptability make the blockchain a popular one. And gold
Yes,
corner
correct.
is something which I'm very die-hard fan of that. I'm not a technology, enthusiast guy, but I want to understand how this technology can solve the problem. And when you solve, you can become a entrepreneur, right? A system.
Yes, that is what I'm making the students. Actually, the students who, first of all, have no job.
Hmm.
Second, they have no money. So they want to, and told them, you will become job creator. If you have no job, if nobody is giving you the job, you think of giving jobs to other. He told, how it is possible, sir? I'm searching for my own job. You are telling me I will give job to others. I told, yes, that is the vlogpreneur actually. That is what. So for entrepreneur actually, as I would have told you earlier also, I have coined a term intrapreneur. Intrapreneur is a person who wants to become entrepreneur, but he does not have uh, two out of three essential requirement of becoming an entrepreneur. According to me, three things are required to become an entrepreneur. One, you should have an idea. Second, you should have a risk taking capability, and third, you should have some money. Three things. So if a person who has just idea is, I want to do something, the and some problem I want to solve, and if he has that problem, that helps, but otherwise I give them the problem. Okay, you should just
Put
should
your brain.
solve.
Put your brain.
So, and you have no money now, so I help them in getting that money. I Because there are a lot of funds for startup, for blockchain and all that, and you don't need tons of money to become a blockpreneur. The minimum thing you may need is, let us say, 10,000 rupees. I
Hmm.
can make you a blockpreneur, and that also I'll get you loan. Mudra loans are there. So many loans are there actually. And if you have no risk taking capability, then I can guarantee some minimum, let us say, internship fees to you. Let us say even 5,000. In villages, we give 5,000 a month. That is minimum guarantee we give. Though you are entrepreneur, but I give you some guaranteed return from day one. It can be 5,000, it can be again 10,000, like that. So these two part I meet, and other they should have. If that also they don't have, we also give them problem. But some people normally come out, I have been thinking why I cannot do, why I cannot create this, why I cannot solve this problem, like that. So that is how we are doing actually.
It's a great boost and great support to the people who are actually lost in the crowd. And it's about a mindset. Like a white collar to gold collar, itself is a mindset. Job seeker to job creator is one part, but how to do it, how to execute it, and how to support themselves at a first level, because their healthy minds can create a lot of creativity. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I'm sure that the people who are associated with you have already got the right path, and obviously the support both as a mentorship and financially what you are already providing. So thank you so much for bringing all this
Thank
part.
you.
It enlightened my knowledge as well. Okay, what I'm doing wrong or where I'm stuck as well. And if as an entrepreneur facing the challenge, similar there are millions who are actually looking for such type of help. So thank you once
Yes, correct, correct. So actually, nobody is doing wrong. Actually, only thing is you have to try something different. If you are not succeeding in what you are doing, try something different. Actually, in our entrepreneurship, we always have a saying that if in your entrepreneur journey you don't fail, you will be unlucky. Like I never failed in my entrepreneur journey. So all my friends are telling, SN, you are the most unlucky entrepreneur. I told, why? You are not happy? They told, no, no, we are happy, but if you don't fail, you don't learn anything, and that is fact. That is fact. Actually, unless you fail, you will not learn. And but there is a concept called, you should fail, but you should fail fast.
again.
Failure should be a part of the strategy. Actually, now we are teaching to our students. In first time, you have to fail, and I'll design you to help you to fail. Actually, that is a part of the training also. That how you should fail. Fail fast, actually.
Fail fast and taste that bitter experience. So
Yes, taste that bitter experience, because learning comes from failures actually. So whenever we give some strategic role to our startups guys, so someone who comes to me and he says, "Sir, I tried this, I tried that, but I have not succeeded. I failed. What I should do now?" I told, I will give you a job. I want the people who have tried and failed and learned something. So I'll use their failure experience, which I don't have actually. That is what I'm doing.
Perfect. No, no, it's that's where the mentorship comes. It's not a training, it's mentorship. Mentorship means hand holding. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
great. Thank you for bringing all these points because the people need it and they don't know whether these points exist or not. That's the biggest dilemma. I will move to the next question, especially on the IPv6. And I know this is also your one of the favorite topic. So, as you are chairing this Bharat IPv6 forum, driving the country towards an Atmanirbhar, which is self-reliant, connected Bharat. So, how critical is IPv6 adoption for India's digital infrastructure, and what are the key challenges you foresee in this whole transition?
Oh yeah, thank you, Deepak. This is really great question, and in fact, this is in my heart actually. As far as IPv6 is concerned, I started working on this much before the Wi-Fi was embraced by me for my that Blue Town thing, and much before the blockchain. Actually, blockchain is my latest, let us say, love.
Love.
You call maybe 2 years back only I got bitten by this blockchain bug, what I'll call it actually. But IPv6, I started working on it actually 20 years back. Actually, in 2004, that time I was the joint secretary in the TRAI, and nobody in India was knowing about IPv6. So I first wrote a small book on that, and that is where I wanted to bring the awareness about IPv6. So I wrote that and I put it on the web free of cost, of course. That was the and getting comments. And then one of my friend who became my friend earlier, he wrote to mail, Mr. Gupta, you have written this paper. I told yes. He told it is being sold in $5 per copy, and I hope you are getting some commission. I told no, I never thought it will be sold, neither I wanted to sell it. He told no, no, it has become very hit and it is being sold and you should get. I told no, no, I am not interested in the money part, but I have got a idea. I never knew that you write a paper on the blockchain like web 2, as I say, because someone else may make money but you are not making money. So that is what happened. My first paper on IPv6, and then the our chairman in the regulatory body decided you should spread this, you should work more in this. Then we hired a consultant who helped us, and after that actually we brought a consultation, did lot of training, and made recommendation to the government that we should start embracing IPv6 as a policy. And that time our minister Maran Saab, actually he came a new minister, and that time he gave a 10-point agenda of the telecom minister. And incidentally, and that was coincident, the blockchain IPv6 was number 6 of its 10-point agenda. So that country should be the leader in IPv6. And from that day, I started working on it. And now the country is the IPv6 leader. Actually, IPv6, out of 1 billion user of the IPv6 in the world, the normal internet users are 4 billion. Out of them, only 1 billion are internet IPv6 users. Out of them, half of them are from India. 500 million IPv6 users are from India. We are the number one in the world for IPv6 user. So that is the starting point of it. But what exactly it IPv6? Actually, I call it a new internet. The earlier internet, just a minute, please. Help. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So the IPv6, actually the earlier internet which came in 1980 was called IPv4.
Hmm.
IP Internet Protocol version 4. That is the initial internet which became operational. So there are version 1, 2, 3, they did not take off. Then version 4 took off, and then there was a version 5 which did not take off, and then version 6 came. So IPv4 have done great till now. It is working, and but now it has showing up the sign of, let us say, wearing out or slowing down, or basically showing up. That means its address, actually IPv4, the maximum address IPv4 can have are 4 billion only. Nobody thought there'll be so many internet users that time. They told 4 billion is a big number, means. And so, but now the usage have increased. 3 billion users are already there on the internet, 4 billion actually, and 4 billion addresses. And internet address is not only for the computers or mobile phone. Now there is IoT. So address is required so many. In fact, today we need 10 billion IP address. Out of them, maximum capacity of V4 is 4, and that is exhausted. Now, if any new address has to be given, V4 cannot give them the address. But V6 have infinite number of addresses. Like V4 was 2 raised to power 32, V6 is 2 raised to power 128. So you cannot even count. It's trillion into trillion into trillion into trillion. 4 times trillions, trillion. So those kind of address V6. So I always call it, I don't basically confuse the people in counting the zeros. I say it has infinite number of addresses. Why infinite? According to me, each and every particle, not a person or a device or a machine or a gadget, each and every particle, even a sand particle, can be given a IP address, and still the address will not exhaust. That is why I always call it as infinite. So theoretically that is not correct, but practically that is correct. So it can give you so many address. So your address problem is solved. So you can connect everything, because IoT alone needs so many addresses. Your 5G needs so many addresses. So all those things put together, the IPv6 have become now a compulsion. You have no option. So you have to use it. Many countries have started embracing it. India was the first country which make a regulation for what is called dual stack. Dual stack means, though you will keep working on V4, IPv4, but you will have to have a equipment and your server which can support V6 also. So it is not that you switch off V4 and start V6. So India started that we will go for dual stack. V4 will also continue, but it should have both the both the version. And that is where we succeeded. Till today we are dual stack, but now the time has come, we have to go for full overhauling of the V4, because in addition to address, the V6 also brings lot of other facilities. It is also a lot of automation have gone, lot of security, because in the internet biggest problem is the security. V6 can make your data transmission more secure. Like I told about the blockchain, V6 also have the capabilities of making it secure. You have some IPsec, what is called a protocol. IPsec is a built-in into the version 6, though in version 4 it was optional. That is why it was not fully exploited. In V6 it is a part and parcel. And then you can do lot of other programming. You can do cryptographically, you can use some feature what blockchain adopted. V6 also can adopt what is called CGA, cryptographically generated address. So your address can also be made safe actually. And then you don't have to use the reuse of address what we do in V4, because address were not sufficient. So they used a NAT kind of concept called network address translation. So where one address is allocated to 100 of the people actually. So now You cannot trace. Now there is a big thing on the traceability, from where the WhatsApp message have come, from where originally it was started.
That's
So we have challenge. But if you use V6, everything will have a direct address.
true.
So
True.
that is what it can do. So that is why V6 is becoming very, very important for our country. We have taken the lead, but it is not enough. It will become enough when we actually make V6 as compulsory even without V4.
Hmm.
So then we will become master. And for that, we also have to have capability in the country to manage the V6 ecosystem, especially the domain name server. Domain name, actually, the internet is managed by 13 root servers, the conventional internet, that is V4. And out of 13 root server, 10 are in US, two
Hmm.
are in Europe, and only one in whole of Asia, and that is in Japan. Like, we are the biggest user of internet. We
True
have
that.
about 950 million internet user. We have 500 million version 6 user,
Hmm.
and we don't have even a root server. And why we don't have? Because the original version of roots internet v4 has a technical limitation, though that is not true. As I don't believe any technology can have limitation, or any technical limitation cannot be solved. It can be solved, but the majority of the view that you cannot have more than 13 root server which are already there. So you have to be managing through one of them. So if you in your continent one is there, so everything will be managed, and that adds inefficiencies, that adds delays, and that also take away the total control of your internet from you. And
Yeah.
that is where I'm advocating we should have our own root server, though v4 is technically non-feasible if we take it as true. So
Hmm.
let's create our own root server, at least for v6.
Yeah.
Once we have created our own root server for v6, for which there is no limitation technically, and we are the world leader already, so we can do. So someday it may happen in 5 years, 10 years, v4 die out someday.
Hmm.
Because like 2G, 3G, 4G, it is like that. 2G is almost dying out. V4 will also die out any day.
Correct.
So that time we will have our own root server. This is what was done by US 45 years back. When they invented the internet, they took all the root server with them, all the 10. Only 3 were left. So then the Europe was the next follower. So 2 root server they grabbed. So one root server only was left for rest of the world. So that means if you are a pioneer, if you are a leader, then you can decide.
Yeah. And
And
what I
at
understand,
least you will have one.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is what is my mission now. I'm working on that from different fronts. It is easier said than done. But main thing is it will create the capability in India to manage and control the internet if need arises. You have to have capability, because just telling by a person like me this is the wish list, it is easier said than done. You have to have the capability to become a leader or a pioneer. So that is what my mission is, to create through Bharat IPv6 forum. I grabbed the word Bharat 5 years back when my board told why Bharat, why Bharat. I told because it is Bharat Varsh,
mm,
so we should call it Bharat. So they were not amused. But last year in the G20, Bharat word has become the official name of our Bharat Mata.
true.
So
Yeah,
I put this domain name 5 years back actually, Bharat, and now it is showing the advantage. Now
the,
nobody else can copy this domain name from me in the internet actually.
that's where the vision comes into. And the way I understand is when you have these servers in India, your data protection, you can build your own application based on the different use cases, which is obviously India has a separate and unique use cases, rest of the, which is different from the rest of the world. And the third one is, which we always say, the data is created here, the content is getting created here, it should be absorbed, and other than sending it to the, seven seas
Yes.
across, your speed will also get increased, and the customer experience that is
Yes,
also,
exactly. That is my idea because one is delay will be curtailed, then distortion will not be there. But main thing is you in emergency you will be able to manage it yourself. You will be able to control it yourself actually. So people have been telling that you are talking of what is called wall gardening, or it has a different name, fragmentation of internet, which is not true. It is not fragmentation of internet. Internet still remain global. Only thing is locally management, and that is called decentralization. Actually decentralization is also a technology from distributed to decentralization. That is a element of blockchain. Decentralization means that you are democratically decentralize the control. Now control is only in two continents, so I want to decentralize it so that it is there everywhere, at least sovereign. Any country should be able to control their own network. That is very fair thing. That is a natural justice. That is called decentralized control, actually. So that is what I'm aiming at actually. There is nothing wrong in that, nothing means negative in that. It should be a national pride as well as national aspiration, and nobody else should tell us why you are fragmenting the internet. It is not fragmentation of the internet.
and but what are the challenges which you can oversee in today's time in adoption of IPv6 in India context?
Actually, one challenge is again like in blockchain, here also there is a lack of awareness, lack of capacity, lack of training. That also we are trying. So, one. The second challenge, which is very small one, is our smaller internet service provider. The big internet service provider, like big telco, like our Geo, have adopted it. Airtel have adopted this. BSNL is in the process of adopting, but these are the bigger telcos. But the smaller ISPs, they don't have any money. Actually, out of 500 ISPs in India, you will be surprised to know only 50 are operational. And out of those 50, only top 10 are making money, and in that top 10, 5 are these main telco and other. So they don't have money. So some money initially, when you translate from V4 to V6, some of the equipment have to be
Upgraded.
upgraded, changed. So initially, some cost of transition is there. So that kind of money our smaller player don't have. That is the only thing. Second part, of course, the what I mentioned about training, that government is very keen that we will fund the training, and there are various schemes of the government through National Internet Exchange of India, through DOT, and now the National Skill Development Corporation. Everyone is keen to fund the training on V6 as well as on blockchain also. Now, someone are required that how to make use of those schemes actually. That is what I am trying to do through my forum. So otherwise, there are no challenges.
I agree. I agree with him. Adoption and the cost of upgrading the older version to the new version of IPv6. I
Yes.
understand. And obviously the people generally make an ROI because if they are upgrading, then how much price they will increase, in the form of ARPU, and is the end customer, the last person sitting on the ground as a subscriber, is he willing to pay? So
Yes.
that
Yeah,
is,
so that the basically the ROI holy cow thing
yes.
comes in play, and that is the showstopper everywhere. So that is where the government or policy maker should come, and they bring funding. They bring what is called subsidy or viability gap funding. That is the role of the government. Is like that only actually.
Agree, agree. It's a catch 22 situation as always, which you rightly mentioned. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, over the time, eventually we have to walk that path. If the dream is big, if the mission is big, then these small hurdles should get sorted.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. This will be sorted out because we are there. Role of our forum is that only actually. We have to bring the awareness. We have to show the path also. We have to educate not only the public or the operators, but also the policymakers.
True, true. Right. Now I will be again in the interest of time. I'm shortening my questions. But one thing I just want to ask from your side is regarding the Blue Town. So, is there any upcoming projects or the development which you are very excited, and also how the Blue Town is contributing into that execution?
Oh, yes, I'm very excited about a project called PM Money that is called Prime Minister Wi-Fi Access Network Interface. Actually, that was the vision of our chairman of TAI that time, which was supported by Honorable Prime Minister, that Wi-Fi should become for broadband what UPI is for cash transaction. So
Yeah.
that is there. So his idea was that Wi-Fi should become what is called a public good. Like UPI is a digital public infrastructure. I've converted that vision myself also in making Wi-Fi as a digital public good. So it should be available to everyone, almost free of cost, but without any hassle. Like UPI is there, everyone is using UPI. Why they are using UPI? It is easy to use and it is free at some level. It is free. The same thing we want to make you Wi-Fi, and for that these PM Money basically mission is there, which actually my book had written that chapter before it became the national mission. The my book Long Tail, it has a chapter on PM Money, though that time it was not called PM Money, it was called just Wani, WANI, and then later on PM adopted these, and it was given a national mission status. So that is where now the state governments are going big way in that. The starting point is UP government. Actually, already they have signed an agreement with BSNL, who is our partner. Other states will also do. Blue Town will be the main partner there in the execution side, but we cannot do everything. So we only requested the government, you don't depend only on Blue Town, though we are the only one left in this mission after COVID because three companies had to be closed. And so now, on our suggestion, the government have empaneled seven more companies actually, who will also do the work what Blue Town is doing on a revenue share basis actually. Earlier we were the only one left actually, and that is how. So we are still very active, very hopeful. Of course, for that lot of investment is required. And in the PM Ani concept, government gives all kind of concessions, but the money you have to invest, and that is what a challenge for me which I'm handling. I mean, that is my responsibility as the chairman of the company. So I'm trying to get some capital raised, even through equity also. I want to get some debt raised also. All kind of things are there. So that is what is the next phase of Blue Town. I will be calling it Blue Town 2.0 actually now, where
Uh,
it will be working towards PM money.
that's a cycle of a business, right?
Yes.
But most of the people don't get the money because they don't have a business. In your case, you have a business, but definitely the raising of money is not a big challenge for you. And definitely, if there's any need support required from our side, so please let us know because Value Seller team also is working on a lot of initiatives, but not on a very broad level. But yes, the people who are actually doing something in their entrepreneurship or startup journey, so we are supporting them.
Oh,
So
great. So that is a great offer, Deepak, you have made. I call it neki or pooch pooch, basically. So I like to make use of this offer. I need it badly. Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, but but thank you, Dr. Satya, for sharing your incredible journey and insights into the future of telecommunication, broadband policies, blockchain, IPv6, NGN, and so many things which you have discussed. And with the not the Indian context, but a global context also, and how to make these things utilize for the Indian part. So thanks for bringing this up. And honestly, it's very clear that your passion for innovation, your commitment to bringing the digital divide and making a last impact is very, very crucial in today's world. So thank you so much for your all your contribution.
Thank you, Deepak, for such a kind words and giving this opportunity to bring my basically imaginations to the grassroots level.
So to our listeners, if you'd like to explore how the Blue Town and the Dr. Satya's initiative can help you or your business, so kindly connect with him. He has a tremendous ideas and he has proven all those ideas to how to make a business model which is scalable, profitable, and also easily acceptable and adoptable. So please reach to him. And I really wish you guys a really, a best of luck in making your transition, your journey to a successful level. So until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you, Dr. Satya.